That's it, especially the Wrekroom.
Shout out to the Wrekroom. We in this bitch.
Come on, man. We at the Wrekroom.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. You already know what the fuck it is. It's your boy Soto Richie,
OG Manny B.
and it's the Wrekroom, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a special guest with us.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, y'all? Name is DZ. You can find me on Instagram, Word of Mouth Productions. Full name would be DZ the Architect, but you can find me at Word of Mouth Productions. That's all I got. Find me somewhere. .com. It leads all to the same shit.
Yes, sir. And if you notice, we got some merch on. This is actually his stuff.
Yes, sir.
Pretty good hats, man. Appreciate the gifts. And if y'all remember, if y'all seen, and we hope you have seen the Tim episode with Tax Free Tim. He was bro in the background, so now he's back again. Obviously, he does something different than Tim. Tim was more of the, I don't know, I guess you could say the finance side. Is that what you?
Yeah, finance
Side.
marketing.
Yeah, now we got a whole completely different segment, a whole completely different market. Man, just go ahead, tell him. You tell him what you do.
So, I'm a jack of all trades and master of all the same trades too. Business, entertainment, but I do more psychology now. That's my thing. Psychology, not clinical, more research and database type of psychology. I did do clinical for a little while, but now I'm more into the studying populations type of deal. But I've done a lot of different things. Been in the military for 13 years, war veteran. I've lived some of everywhere, so I can pretty much tell you about any major city across the country, and based on your personality, I can tell you if you like it or not. So I've had a very long and interesting life thus far.
Wow.
So how long? So I'd assume you're not from Arizona, right?
No, I'm originally from Queens.
Queensbridge.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lived in Queens up until, pretty much New York, Long Island, the whole area, up until high school. Then I went to this little small town called Mullen, South Carolina. It's about 40 minutes to an hour away from Myrtle Beach, one of like the top 5 destinations across the globe as far as beaches go. And I'll say this, one thing I learned about living in Mullen, South Carolina is, or even in any country space, living in the country is like a million times worse than living in the city.
It's a different adjustment.
It's not about the adjustment. It's not about the people. It's about the opportunity. Regardless of, like, even here in Phoenix, you can play football, you can play basketball, you can play lacrosse. There's so many different things you can get into, whether it doesn't have to be sports related. It could be education related. It could be art related. It could just be something completely out the box. But when you're in a small town in a country like that, it doesn't work the same, especially like in the South. You either playing football, basketball is cool, but it's not the same. Even education is not as important as playing the sport. And then you're talking about a bunch of middle schoolers and high schoolers who just want to get out and have fun and do all that other stuff. An idle mind is the devil's playground. So where do they go? What are they going to do? They're going to wind up getting into trouble, wind up getting into mischiefs. And I've seen some of the most talented people there, I won't say wasted, but not understand the level of their talent, and it gets squandered because they had no one else to guide them as well. Because it's not their fault. They were kids. They didn't know no better. But it's like, for me, I remember coming from New York, going there, and just thinking that I cannot get stuck here. I don't want to be stuck here. I cannot get stuck here because that would be the end of my life. And it's no disrespect to the town. It's no disrespect to them because I met some great people out there. Shout out to Dante. God rest the dead, Chris Cooper and Charles White. Both were murdered recently. Hope they find the dude who did what he did to them. And other individuals like God rest Benny. He was, I think, like 2 days away from going into the Army, and he was shot going to see a girl. It just happens on so many occasions where, like, there's nothing going on there. And not to say this can't happen in the city, but there's more outlets where that's less likely to happen on a grand scheme of things than someone saying in that small country town. Because let's say even here in Phoenix, the Super Bowl was earlier this year. Let's say you was a street dancer or something like that, and I don't know, we'll say Rihanna rolled by and saw you street dancing, hey, I want you in my next music video, hit him up. That's not happening in no country town. Rihanna's not rolling through a country town.
Yeah.
A Drake is not rolling through a country town. A Jay-Z's not rolling through a country town. And if they do, they not stopping. It's just the reality of the situations. So I just say it's a lot harder to make something of yourself when you come from out of that if you're trying to be something bigger than your city or your place or your town. Because I remember being there. I remember being depressed, like coming from New York down there, and like I said, they treated me great, but I remember being depressed to the point of like wanting just to off myself. But if it wasn't the people that I met there, if it wasn't for them, I probably would have done it. Because I just, even younger than that, I didn't really come from a very great background as far as parents. Like Timmy was here, I was the complete opposite of Timmy at that age. I wanted to learn to play the violin, the piano, chess, learn a different language and all that other stuff. But I didn't have parents that believed in me, to put it short and bluntly. They just didn't. For whatever reason or another, they didn't. Will they ever admit to that or accept that? No. But it's like you can tell. Like when somebody really like fucks with you or thinks you can make something of yourself and someone who couldn't. So like even not in high school, in elementary school, my grades, it started from like 7 years old. My grades were never consistent. I was always getting into trouble. Crazy part is I was always getting into trouble for what other people did, and I just happened to be around. But when you're the kid with I've gotten in trouble. I've gotten more trouble for what other people done than what I've done, and just because I just didn't say nothing to who did it.
Shit, so wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, like, and it's not even the wrong place, wrong time. I was just hanging with the wrong dude. It was one dude individual who was always in trouble. But it doesn't help when you make bad grades or inconsistent grades and you're hanging around this person. It doesn't make you look credible. And for a while when I was in elementary school, I just thought I was a dumb kid. Like I just thought, and I really just relied on sports and thought that was going to be the way my ticket to stardom, so to speak.
What did you play?
I was good at everything. Basketball, football, baseball. I hated baseball, but I was good at it. Track, I could run. I was really fast. I was one of the fastest kids in the school. I always we at the track events every year, and it was like a tournament. Like I don't know how it is, other places are how it now, but like only the fastest could go. I made it every year, etc., etc., etc. It wasn't until middle school is when I realized I wasn't dumb. I was in a bad situation because from like the time I was 7 up until like 10, I was waking up at like 4 in the morning every morning with my dad so he can get to work and so my mom can get to work. Not every single morning, but most morning I was waking up at 4 in the morning. Now, when you thinking that as a kid, you're thinking it's your fault. But when you think as an adult, no 7-year-old should be up at 4 in the morning.
Shoot, no, hell no.
Shit, no grown ass adult should be up at 4 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had a bedtime at 9 o'clock, but still, that's not conducive for a 7-year-old. It's not conducive for a 10-year-old. But when I got to middle school, I was getting myself up for school, and I wasn't getting up. Like I think I had to catch the bus at like 7:30, so I wasn't getting up to like 6:30. The 2 hours made such a significant difference, and I could see it in my grades and stuff. Like I remember having I had tests the entire day. That entire day, one day, it just was like the perfect storm. I'm like, man, fuck, I'm gonna fail these tests. I'm gonna get in trouble again. Yada yada yada. I didn't study from or nothing. All the tests I made B's on. I was like, hold up. B's. I remember B's, not studying, nothing, just B's, straight B's.
Damn.
And I remember one test. It was a math test. I still can't stand this lady to this day. Well, I'm not gonna stand her, but I can't stand her. Almost every kid in that class failed the test except me.
Really?
It was like 5 or 6 of us that did not fail, and we're not talking about like 65 failures. We're talking about like 40s and 50s failing, and I did not fail that test.
I'm sorry for interrupting. What is what class is it?
Math. It was a math class.
Yeah, nice.
Math class, and I didn't fail the test. Like I was like, okay, I'm a little different here. Like that's when I realized like it wasn't dumb, and I realized I'm actually a lot smarter. I just wasn't in a bad situation between the bad grades, the waking up early, already having like a terrible reputation at school and all that other stuff. But I was no longer in that school, and it pretty much was a fresh start. And I was in middle school, essentially, I was raising myself at that point. Like my parents was always at work. So I was taking care of myself. So like the most they really got on me was about band and not playing an instrument. But I was like, I didn't even want to play the instrument. Like I know how to play the trombone, but I wanted to play the drums. And I was like, I don't want to play this, so I didn't put no effort into it. But I could play music by ear.
When did you start playing music and what instrument as well?
Trombone, and it was this 6th grade. And I couldn't, to this day, I can't read music, but I can play any song you give me by ear. I can match the notes.
Wow.
Off
Yeah.
the trombone.
Yes.
Oh shit.
That's fucking awesome.
Don't know why. And that's when I knew it was like, I'm not dumb. I just need the opportunities. And from there on, I just had the grit to prove. It wasn't even to prove anybody wrong. I just wanted to be better than the people who thought they were better than me. And I kept that mentality all the way to college. Like, I remember I was like the first kid in my high school to pass the APA art test. So APA, I don't know if they have it now, but AP is like you get a college credit before you even go to college.
Advanced
Like,
placement or something
yep,
like that.
and I like you had to make a 3 or better, and I made like a 3 or 4 or something like that. So I had a college credit going into college, and this is prior to people, being to get grades and all that stuff in college and all that good whatnot. It's prior to all of that, and I made the grade for that. I remember sitting in college, like interviews and whatnot, and my parents not really like. I had no idea he was this good at art. Had no idea. They thought, because I had been drawing since I was a kid. I would get in trouble for drawing, like literally get in trouble. Like, just did not believe that I was that good at it. And I've been to SCAD. I got accepted to SCAD for my art abilities.
Wow, SCAD.
Like, yeah,
That's crazy.
you know what I'm saying? Like I when I was really drawn and really into it, I could really draw some stuff or paint some stuff, like sculpt the whole nine. Like art related stuff, I can do it, and I'm pretty decent at it. Not so much now because I don't practice as much, but it's like riding a bike. I can get back into it. So that's pretty much like my life story up until college, and then college was just a whole different world for me. Like
What college you go to?
South Carolina State University. Shout out to the Bulldogs. I modeled my first year in college. Shout out to DeMonte. He was my agent.
Modeled.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like, I used to model. I remember him telling me they wanted me to go to New York, and I just didn't have the money to go to, like, interview or, go through the runway stuff. And I didn't go. I remember that's pretty much, like, Timmy, like, all of them. Like, I met them in high school, but that's when we started calling ourselves the squad because it was so many of us. And I remember just being invited to so many things and doing stuff. Like, I remember there was these kids that, like, my homie at the time, like, ex-best friend, Bud, even shout out to Bud. He called me one day. I was home. It was summertime. He was like, you did it. I said, I did what? What did I do? He's like, bro, these dudes want us to come with them on spring break for BET. Now, y'all might be a little too old to remember, too young, excuse me for that. But he's like, bro, they want us to come with them on spring break because of what you did, yada, yada, yada. We didn't go because life happens and all the other stuff. But it was the point that I had to start accepting the fact that there was something different about me, because I don't really look at myself as different. I don't see myself as different. I feel like anything I've accomplished, somebody else can do except my height. Like, the height is the only thing people can't do. But that's pretty much been the story of my life. Like, after pretty much elementary school, I just, for lack of a better term, been a winner. Like obviously I've had setbacks, I've had drawbacks, but as far as like just absolute failure or not trying for something and not eventually achieving it, no, that has not been my life.
So it's always been little trials and tribulations that you've conquered to get some.
Yeah, when last week, or it was last week or the week before when I was here, when I said like my life has kind of been like Goku and Vegeta. When I was younger, it was an external motivation to be better than the people who thought they were better than me. But once I felt like I was better than them, or I had achieved them, it's like, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? And that's when I realized it was never about being better than them. And that's when I realized I wasn't Vegeta, I was Goku. It was about being better than I was the last day, the next day. Like I said, I've had trials and tribulations that have put setbacks and all that other stuff. And I probably should be a lot further along in life if I just wasn't so, what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say stubborn or anything like that, because I always say my gift of God was always learning from other people's mistake. It was just being so helpful to people who may not have been so helpful to me, or may not known how to be so helpful. More so in the relationship aspect, because I know you was asking about that.
Yeah.
More so in the relationship aspect. Not to say they were bad women or anything like that, but what I've come to find out is that a lot of women have gone through a lot of trauma. Like a lot of trauma that's damn near not recoverable to come back from if nobody comes and pulls you out of that. The main ways I've seen trauma for women is a finance thing. I'm gonna tell you right now, women be having money. Most women work their asses off of money, but you know why they work their asses off? Because they taking care of their mama, they taking care of their sister, their brother, this person, that person. They usually have some type of baby daddy that's going through his own life trials, tribulations, and they understand that, so he can't give the funding that he would normally go. Like we know we're black and Latino men. Like opportunities is not afforded to us like everybody else. It just isn't. Like we got to work. Seems like it used to be double as hard, but it seems like quadruple as hard just to get the simple opportunities for a basic job that pays decent pay. But a lot of them are so financially abused by their mothers that they cannot get ahead. Like, and then what I found is that I get into those situations with them. So like, let's say we'll use an example. I give a woman $500. Her mama might be asking for 400 of them. It might not be $400, but over a course of 30 days, she's like, let me get $20. Let me get $10. Let me get $50. That's like eating out. And we all know that shit adds up.
Thanks.
That shit adds up real quick. You be like, damn, I didn't realize I spent $400 in 2 weeks on
Shit, dude. I hate that when it
exactly.
happens.
And you be like, God damn, I spent this much on this, and it adds up. So what happens is now they put that onus on you to take care of what they can't take care of, and it's like that eventually will bring you back down, or you'll run into the situation where it's like they've drained you of pretty much everything you have, or you're down on your luck. It just happens in life where you're down on your luck, and they feel like they can outdo you, or they've outgrown you, so then they drop you off, or they don't want to deal with you no more, and then you move on, and now you don't have to deal with them. You're dealing with yourself, and now that you're dealing with yourself, you're allowed to elevate a lot faster and a lot quicker because you already know the steps you made and how to make those different steps, and then they're looking back at you like, how did he do this without me? And then a lot of them realize later, like, damn, I made it this far with him. It wasn't because of anything, and not to say they wouldn't do anything on their own, but it was like his contributions helped me make it farther than I thought I was making it, and I thought it was just me, just a lack of humility, to be perfectly honest.
So I got a question. So based off what you know, where do you feel like this shift with all these females just happened? Because like now you're starting to see like the F and Fs and like, you know, I don't need nobody, I'm independent, I'm, you know. And then when you do meet somebody, it's like, oh, I, you know, pay for this, pay for that, you know. Like
He's talking about, let's just be real, he's talking about feminism.
No, not just that. Like, it's just like based off what you see on social media shit too. Like, I don't know, you know, that's just for me. But like, where do you feel like it kind of just, because you used to be, because now, and someone told me about it in music, like, you know, you used to hear the lyricism of people talking down on the female, and now you're hearing the female talk down on the guy.
There's a lot. That's a very nuanced question, but there's a lot. Let's start with first off, trauma bond. Let's start with that. You grow up with your mama. You hear, men ain't this, men ain't that, men ain't that. Eventually, you internalize that. That's what's gonna happen. Cause let's just be honest, accountability is not high on most people's radar. Y'all know of moms or dads, mainly moms that talk so down on the dad, but then when you hear the dad side of the story and you hear the whole spectrum, it's like, she didn't tell me this happened. She didn't tell me she hit you with a car after you went out with a woman after she broke up with you. You know what I'm saying? That changes the whole dynamic. She didn't tell me that, saying just that, you know, she told you she was on birth control and she really wasn't because she was trying to trap you. You know what I'm saying? Like man.
You know
what I'm saying? That's a different scenario. Like, I know a young lady dating a dude 10 years younger than her.
Where I've been in a situation like that.
Now, tell me, what can a dude 10 years younger do for a woman that age? His 10 years or senior. Like, you're 18. Nobody can see your face. What could you do for a 28-year-old woman? One goddamn thing. She's either a professional or close to a professional. So there should be nothing taken seriously out that situation. Now, when you're getting into the spectrum of, like, let's say, what's that dude's name? Zion Williams, and he dating somebody 20 years old. There's a lot he can do in that spectrum because now we're talking money. But you're talking about your average everyday person. Like a guy can't do nothing for a woman 10 years older than him, more than likely.
What about the situation with Jerry Seinfeld and his 18 or 17-year-old lover?
I don't know. You gotta explain more about that.
Well, back in the day, he was dating I guess an 18 to 17-year-old when he was like almost like 40, 39.
I think it's weird. I think it's creepy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Generally speaking, people who seek out people who are that much younger than them are mentally regressed in some type of way, where it's emotionally immature or just mentally immature altogether. Now, there are scenarios in which you just can't help. Like, for example, we went to that conference 2 weeks ago. Now, if you would have met a young lady there and she just happened to be 40, you were in the same space where it's like, in some aspects, y'all are equals. You get what I'm saying? But there's nothing about at 32. There's nothing appealing to me about a 18-year-old girl.
Yeah, I feel you on that shit.
Like, I'm not gonna go seek that out ever in life. Like, that's weird. That's weirdo behavior. It's manipulative to me. On whether if it's a woman doing it to a man or a man doing it to a woman, it's manipulative to me. And you're looking to get something out of that you shouldn't be looking for. Because why do the people your age don't want you? You know what I'm saying? That it's a suspect type of scenario to me. So yeah, that's weird regardless of who's doing it to me.
All right, and then the same aspect goes for the reverse roles for women. And
yeah, I think it's weird. Like, as a woman, I think it's just as weird to me. Like, why? Now, if you've been married or not, but why you at 42 ain't never been married? Why at 42 are you looking for a 22-year-old? What can somebody 20 years younger do for you, except for that one thing? Now, like I said, if there's a scenario in which y'all are meeting each other, like let's say, you know, like I use the Zion basketball player. Those are scenarios in which they are both celebrities. You can meet somebody, but they are peers on an equal type of playing field where they're both in the type of situation. But at 42 years old, you shouldn't be at some club at looking for an 18-year-old, because there are clubs that are 25 and older. There are clubs that are 30 and older. There are clubs that are 35 and older.
Of course.
You should be trying to meet those people around there, or be at social events or charity works or conferences in which you can meet people who are your equals. Not to say life doesn't happen, but at the same token, it's like, it's kind of odd or it's kind of suspicious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you could have a neighbor. You could be 42 and have a neighbor that's 23, and that's a scenario where that's out of your control, because how many 23-year-olds is living by themselves? Because that, in some aspects, he's an equal. But if you out there looking for that or hunting for that, then you're a weirdo to me.
You said something interesting last week. You said something after 25, it's your fault? Or something
Yeah,
like
after
that?
25, life is your fault.
How do you explain that more?
So psychology says that the brain is fully developed, generally speaking, at 25. So that means your level of judgment, your level of character, your level of morality, all that is essentially developed.
And this goes for both female and male,
Yes.
right?
So after 25, essentially know what in your life went wrong, who you can blame what for, but you have to accept it, move on, and move forward. To me, before 25, you have little to no accountability about a lot of situations, generally speaking. Now, like, you know, if you smack somebody in the face at 24 and they break your jaw, you know, but we're talking about finances, we're talking about what to do after college, we're talking about where to live, how to look for a job, how to apply for a resume, and all that other stuff. Like, these are things that are more adult things that you might learn in college, but they don't really teach that. They're not teaching you how to invest your money or finances or anything like that. They don't. Fact. These are things your parents and whatnot should be able to teach you if they learned it, or if they hadn't learned it, should have done the due diligence to learn it themselves. Because when I was 24, 25, I started learning how to invest and all that stuff. Was I good at it? Hell no. But I learned about it. Like, I remember when Twitter was $17 a share.
Damn, $17. Holy fuck.
I don't know what it is now, but last time I looked, it was like 34, 35, something like that.
Jeez.
It might be more now. Like, you look it up. See how much is
Jamie? These are Jamie also as well.
How much is it? I remember when Facebook came out, and it was $10 a share.
Fuck.
$10 a share. I wanted to invest in it. You know why I didn't invest in it? I did not invest in it because my car broke down the same day.
Damn.
That's the IPO? Fuck.
And I was going to put $1,000 into it.
Woo. It would have been a big payout.
Boy.
That's like it's only recently, but I accepted the fact that motherfucker, you just different. Like you just see shit that motherfuckers don't see.
What got you into your occupation that you're in right now?
I got injured in the military like 6 years ago now. So what I was actually doing was like I've been working on the word of mouth thing for 10 years. Like I took a year just to do the logo, like just to get it to what I want it to be.
10 years?
10 years. I've been working on this for 10 years. I remember I was living in Atlanta. That's one of the places I lived. And I just graduated from college. I just got back from deployment, and I was working at, I'm not going to put the place out there. I was working at this place, and they were paying me $7.20 an hour. And I made more working at places in high school. and I called my homie, Fam. I called him. He'll be out here when he has the time. And I said, bro, I can't do this shit. I do not want to work like this for the rest of my life. If this is what they talking about, no. I got to start my own business. I don't care what it is in. We got to do something different. And that's when I started working on it. Originally, we were going to design apps. That's what originally, because apps were like a big thing at the time. Not realizing the depth it took to really make an app, that's what we wanted to do.
Just like
Okay,
coding and
okay.
shit like that.
Yeah. But at the time, we didn't realize the depth of it. Like, I was a graphic designer. I knew how to draw. I was going to do the front end. He was an engineer. He'd do a back end. And then we had another friend, Steve. Shout out to Steve. He was going to learn the coding part. So we were going to put that together. So I was living in Atlanta for a year. I was like, man, this is not working. So I went back to school. So I learned how to do more front end coding and all that other stuff. And learning that's when I went to FAMU. Shout out to the Rattlers. And I was living in Tallahassee with fam, and I was just learning different things about the business and learning how to do certain things to make it work and all that other stuff, and kept getting setbacks on what wasn't working, what wasn't doing this, what wasn't doing that, until I got to the point where like my cousin, I saw him with some hats, and I was like, what if I put this logo on his hat? I saw my cousin, I saw him with some hats, and I said, what if I put this logo on the hat? Because that's when I got, like, we could do photography, we could do production, like, because we kind of had that in college and undergrad, but like when we were in college undergrad, YouTube became a thing, all these things became a thing, and we got popular because I just was recording stuff. I just like doing photography. I like doing art. Like we have a whole page, like I can show y'all when we get off, where you just see a bunch of stuff that I have recorded and took pictures of and doing graphic design, just practicing because that's what I wanted to be. And then I was like, you know what, we can do this, we can do production. And I started learning how to really do that in the different aspects of it, and that's when I started doing the hats. So the first set of hats, like I was telling y'all, they were just like, they didn't have all the distressed look. I was moving back to New York. I was doing all this other stuff. Dude, I sold me the hats, $15 a pop. I only did 12. I was like, let's see how this do. People were like, oh, this is dope. I got to get one. I was like, I didn't hit a lick.
Yeah.
I was like, let's try it again. Second set of hats. I think I did 24. These hats are fire, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I like this design, da-da-da-da-da. This shit really working.
So business started booming. You started getting more orders.
Yep. It's actually crazy how it got to the point it got to where people were stealing hats.
Stealing hats. Wow. Holy
People
fuck.
were stealing hats. Like my homeboy Steve, TSA person stole his hat.
Wow.
I remember one dude bought a hat from me. I can't remember his name. When I was living in Charlotte, because I lived a lot of places. Living in Charlotte, he bought the hat from me. He said, "Yeah, dog, I'm gonna have to buy another hat from you." I'm like, "You just got a hat yesterday. I don't have any different ones." He said, "Nah, dog, this girl stole it."
Wow.
I've been at some point in time. I was getting a call every other week about people stealing hats from just taking people's hats. Timmy, he was here. He said he had a party. They cleaned him out all his hats. I remember having a hat like a hunter green. A girl DM'd me and was like, "Yo, I don't care if the hat is used or not. I just need a hat."
That's really good. That's really good tread.
Yeah, like
Wow.
and
Honestly, I was gonna say, so with the first piece, it gained a lot of traction. Second piece, it was just going through the roof. So with the new pieces that are coming in, is Has it been just hats, or is it also other clothing as well?
Oh yeah, I got shirts, I got joggers, I got windbreakers, I got hoodies, I got sweaters. I got all that stuff, but I just been focused on. As y'all know, I've been busy focused on so many other things that I haven't even had time to like order my own stuff. And then it was like trial and error with this, because what really, really got me started doing it was, again, I went to SCAD in Atlanta, and I was drawing, and this kid, Dallas, I'll never forget his name. He said, "Yo, this is a dope design you have," and it wasn't that; it was something else I did. And he's like, "You should put this on a shirt."
Ooh.
And it sparked the whole idea of doing that. And that's when I learned about the printmaking. I learned about embroidery. I learned about all the different aspects of how to make something look great and with quality, to the quality that I was drawing at and what people wanted. Like, I learned all of that. And that's when I was like, you know what? Let me go to school. Let me go to school. I finally figured out when I wanted to get my master's in. And that's when I got my master's in entertainment business. I went to Full Sail, one of the best schools I've been to.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them for real. They still give me still send me notifications when they having career fairs and all that other stuff. It's one of the top schools I went to. Originally injured myself, I didn't realize how bad the injury was and all that. So like it was a little more extensive now than it was, but I didn't think it was that bad. I thought I might have just pulled something, needed a break, but I was moving to another base and I was moving back to New York because that's where I'm from, and I knew like my homie Herbie. He cool up there. He got some notoriety, but I knew that I could get what I wanted out there all across the board. Like I knew like if it hit there, it'll hit anywhere. That's how I know. I know my city. I know that's how it works.
So New York City. And
Yeah.
How long did it take for it to start picking up revenue or picking up traction over there?
I went up there to visit because me and Twan, we were looking for a place. I dropped off some hats. I think homie hit me up maybe like 72 hours later, like, yo, when you getting more hats?
Yo, okay. Hell yeah.
What year is this?
This is 2018.
2018.
But all that went to a halt once I injured myself. So
And
the
this
base
is-
I'm at was trying to screw me over and all this other stuff. They were trying to make me come back. Like, it was one guy in particular who was trying to screw up my career. He wanted me to get kicked out, but he was trying to screw up my career, and it hindered me from going up there on top of having the injuries. So when you get injured in the military, you're really not allowed to move about or do all this stuff. You have to be pretty much stay detained in the area you're at until it's all figured out. So I was pretty much, that's how I ended up in Charlotte. So I was I was driving back and forth trying to figure out the whole medical stuff until I finally got to a point where they just kind of put me on no points, no pay till we get to the bottom of it. No points, no pay means you don't have to show up at all. Like we pretty much know you're medically done. We just got to figure out stuff on our end because it's a very long process. And that's how I ended up in Charlotte, and that pretty much derailed everything with the word of mouth brand. Then COVID happened.
Ooh.
So now you know what that does. That does nothing. And then during COVID, the world pretty much changed. Like, you had SEO and all that other stuff, but I'm pretty sure y'all are old enough to remember where, like, for a lack of a better term, word of mouth was the way of getting shit out. Like,
Yeah.
going to festivals and all that stuff. It's still a way, but it doesn't hit like it did before COVID. I'm pretty sure y'all are aware
Yeah,
of
now
that.
you could just make a post. And
Exactly. And if the right person sees it or if it goes viral, it goes everywhere. I'm from a more older school of doing things, so even now I still don't completely comprehend SEO and all that other stuff. I get it to the extent that I can explain it, and I get that you have to be consistent with it, but it's like to the point of where other people are getting into it and how they just know how to hit that lick every time. No, I don't know it. But at the same time, I know there are people who will pay $50,000 because I think it's like a minimum, like Google
Damn.
charges, like not Google charges that, but like a $50,000 to get your stuff out there and all that other stuff. But I also kind of put stuff on delay because I knew there was a lot of logistical things on the back end I wanted to get handled and taken care of. So I'm not like swiped from under me, you know, my whole business or brand or somebody does some crazy shit like that. So it was all learning that. Everything's together now, everything's good, and I'm moving back into that direction. But now, because I'm a psychologist as well, doing a certified life coach, doing consulting, that is doing well as well, meeting people and all that other stuff. So now it's a tandem of things that's going on that I'm, you know, playing the juggling act and learning how to do and all that whatnot, all that good stuff and whatnot. So like, but the word of mouth stuff, like working on something big, that's gonna be a big deal. meeting some right people, and it's gonna be something bigger than what people thought it was gonna be come next year.
So
And then there's a lot of stuff you also got to learn too, like how to buy stuff so you're not paying these super high prices, the different licensures you need and all that other stuff, so you can pay wholesale numbers and all that other shit. But it's been a process, but I've loved every minute of it.
Damn, man. Talk about being tapped in, like that's what it is, right?
So when you're making the process, with the hats, was it a very tricky step with the first piece?
Oh, this Asian guy taught me. What's the name of the place? Shit. I can't think of the name of the place, but he taught me, and I didn't even pay attention to what he was teaching at the time. To do embroidery, you need a particular type of file. It's not like just a regular JPEG or TIFF or something like that. It's a particular type of file. But also, when you look at a logo, there are some logos that are way more detailed when they are like a picture versus when they're on something. And the reason for that is because embroidery cannot do that, and it doesn't look as good. So I tell people there's beauty in simplicity. So like the Nike logo or McDonald's or Louis Vuitton or Gucci, how simple it is.
Yeah, the monograms.
Yeah. You want it simple because it's easy to reprint, redistribute, and all that other stuff, and resize and all that good jazz. A lot of these people you see with these Illustrator logos, these bomb paw shop type of logo things. I know what y'all know. It's like people charge you like $50. Get your hustle, get your money, but that's not a longevity logo. That's not gonna get. You can't put that. You can put it on a shirt, but it's not something that's gonna stand the test of time. Just to put it bluntly, it's just not gonna stand the test of time. It won't, because it's just not. It's not easily reproduced. It's not clean. And when I mean clean, like there's a certain finish that a McDonald's logo has. There's a certain finish that even a Dragon Ball Z logo has. There's a certain finish that a Nike has. There's a certain finish that a Louis Vuitton has that those logos don't have. But people aren't willing to pay the price of what it costs for a real logo. Like for example, if you can't design something yourself, like if somebody that came to me asking for a logo, as busy as I am and what I got going on, I'm not charging you less than $5,000. Not charging you less than $5,000 as an individual. As a company or a brand, I'm not charging you less than $100,000.
Damn.
Come correct.
Like, I'm just being honest because of the time it will take. And it's all on a sliding scale. Like, I'm talking about a high school student come to me for a logo, I'm charging you $5,000. If you're already a small business to put together, I'm charging you no less than $20,000 because of the time it'll take to get the logo. On top of that, the fact that people tend to not be very good at articulating the type of logo they want or need, or even worse, you can tell them that, hey, this is not going to work like this because of this, this, and this, and they don't care. That's what they want. So that becomes a bigger issue within itself, because it's like, I'm telling you what's not going to work, and I'm telling you the reason why, but it's like, I don't care that it's not going to work. This is what I want. This is what I want you to do. But then when you do it, then it's like, this is not going to look good. And it's like, bro, like I tried to tell you. Like, there's beauty in simplicity, but you can't get your money back from me. You know what I'm saying? But you also got to be selective about who you work with. You don't want to work with somebody who's going to pay $5,000-$6,000 is going to listen to what you're saying. You get what I'm saying? Versus somebody who you pay who's paying you $200. They're going to listen different. They're going to be more motivated to listen because you're telling them what works. Obviously, I know what works. So it's like, are you going to do what you want to do, or are you going to listen to the person who knows what works?
I'm going to listen to the person that knows what's works.
A lot of people not going to do that.
How often or frequent does that happen?
Oh, it happens a lot. It happens a lot. And
with these people that don't listen, are they the ones that are like not disciplined, or is it?
No, it's not that they're not disciplined. They just want what they want, and it's hard to articulate to them. Telling them what you want is just not going to work in the capacity that you think it's going to work. I won't say they're not disciplined, but I'm a firm believer in this, and I say this all the time. Well, this is even a good segue into the relationship thing, and this goes for both men and women. You got to pay the cost to be the boss.
Pay the cost to be the boss.
Don't
Whatever
underprice
that cost
yourself.
may be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't underprice yourself. Like, I have 3 degrees. I'll have 4 next year, and and I'm going
It's
into
our
the
light.
Yeah,
into
just
the
turn the
PhD,
backlights on.
and I'm going into my PhD. Right now, even with me just working on my second master's, for a lot of things, you're not allowed. I can't let you can't let you undersell me. Like, for my time is at least $2,000. Like a consultation fee for me is like $200 to $500.
And that's just to sit.
That's just to sit and talk to me.
Yeah,
was
sit
about to
down.
ask you that
Sit
too.
down.
Just to sit and talk to me about whatever you got going on. Cause you're
How long is that session usually too, by the way?
an hour.
Hour? Okay.
Yeah, it depends
No,
on what
not
they
that
got going
bad.
on. It depends on the length of what they got going on. So let's say, Rich, you come to me and be like, I'm
having these problems, doc.
I'm having
I
these
just don't know what
problems,
to
or
do.
et cetera, so forth, and I'm like, okay, and I'm gonna listen to you first to see what you say, and like, yeah, I'm pretty black, bro. Like, I say, okay, these are the problems. These are how the things I can help you. These are the ways I can help you. This is something you will commit to with helping, or if not, this is not something you can commit to, then we don't even need to waste each other's time. You just go your way, I go my way. Because not only if I can't help you, I know the people who can help you. So even if I can't do it, I know somebody else who can help you. So you're not just paying for my time, you're also paying for the connections that I can have. But I'm not going to sit there, like, for example, Manny, I introduced you to Timmy. You know how many other people I tried to introduce to Timmy?
Oh, damn. How'd that work out?
Exactly. That's how it worked out. Because I'm sitting right next to you.
So in other words, it's like you could show the people the water, but you can't pedal the canoe. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you don't want the opportunity, I don't care. My life is still going to be my life. As we can very well see, I've been a winner my entire life. And that's not going to change. Like, my mentality on having to be the best is not to change. And it's not to be the best to be better than anybody else. It's just, I just want to see how far I can go in my life. How far can I go to do the Lord's will? That's pretty much all it is for me. To do whatever he has me here to do. That's as plain and simple as it is for me. But it's like, with other people, I can't make them do it. I'm not going to judge you for what you do in your life. I particularly don't care. I only care. My mom used to say this to me: if you don't care, I don't care.
My mom used to say, "It is what it is."
That's what I'm saying. If you don't care, so I care as much as you do. I'm going to put as much effort into you that you put in yourself. But I'm not going to put effort into somebody who don't want to put it in themselves. I'm not going to keep calling you. I'm not going to keep texting you. But I'm also not going to take your money either if you're just going to waste my time or your time. You use it to pay bills, buy some new shoes, or whatever you want to do with it. But this is improvement in life is a consistent thing. You have to keep improving. You have to keep growing, and you have to be willing to pay the cost to be the boss.
Have you seen people actually like throw their money away in cases like that?
What do you mean throw their money away? Like, I said, people throw their potential away every day. There's a guy I've been texting a couple weeks. He's asked for my help. I don't know what happened to him. He might be going through something personal. Because I'm not going to assume anything one way or another, because I thought Manny was going through something personal. Look what he's been working on. This entire time, I hadn't spoken to him. He'd been talking to Timmy the whole time. So the guy could be doing the same thing. So I can't say one way or another, but I'm happy that he's been successful with just the little gems I did drop to him.
Okay.
So, but I've seen other people who just kind of like throw it away. It is what it is.
And so then going into the segue, it pays pays to be the boss.
Yeah, like that conference we went to, a VIP ticket was $1,200. A regular ticket was $400. Like
400? Really?
a regular ticket was $400. Like the midway ticket was like $500. What you have to understand as a man, especially a man in America, especially an ethnic man in America, things are not going to be handed to you. Things are not going to be given to you. Things are not going to work. That don't work that way. And you have to be able to put yourself in those rooms. And the way you put yourself in those rooms is money talk and bullshit walk. Eventually, you'll get lucky. Like, I guess in a sense, you guys can say y'all got lucky because, we were working at the same spot. But luck don't come twice. My friend Benny used to say that all the time. He said luck don't come twice. So it's like you saw the opportunity, but then you made more out of it. You paid the cost to be the boss to do more with that opportunity. And that's how that has to work. That has to happen. Like, obviously, luck kind of came a couple times in my life, but there's going to be a point where I was going to have to, even regardless, I can't even say that. I paid the cost to be the boss. You know how much money I paid on these hats? Like, this last set, I think it cost me like $5,000-$6,000.
Ooh,
To make
pretty
these
ass
hats.
penny.
Exactly. But I just figured out a way to lower the cost for me to make for these hats. Other stuff that cost me, like printing shirts out and it looking tacky and having to do that $200, $300 there, giving it to the homies to see what it looks like, doing this, doing that, different websites. I think I've made a total of 10 websites.
10 websites?
10 different websites.
For your businesses or other businesses?
For this one business.
Wow.
Just to see what would work. And it's not, you can do some conventional things, but at the same token, it's like, I don't have the equity or the money to like hire some big design firm to make me a $50,000 website, because if I did, I would have. So it's a lot of me doing the work myself to figure it all out. Like, when you just starting out, as y'all know, you wear multiple hats. You the CEO, you the director, you're the storyboarder, you're the janitor, you're the technician, you're all of that. You're the editor, you're everything, and that's a lot of people aren't willing to do that for themselves. A lot of people aren't willing to go that setback. There's a lot of people who just, for the lack of a better term, like when something doesn't work the first time, they quit, and that's what makes them failures, because they didn't not because it didn't work, it's because they didn't give themselves time to learn and process how to be better and how to do more. Like, and I will admit I hate when people say they've done stuff all by themselves. No, I can't say I've done this all by myself. Timmy has helped me just as much as he's helped you. I've had a couple women that, like my first book that I do, I'm going to dedicate to one woman in particular. Like when the brand really hits big, like I'm named to do Dallas. Like I plan on compensating them for even giving me the idea. A young lady I was dating, Jill, shout out to Jill. She was there every step of the way with me in the beginning too, taking pictures, doing the hats, the whole nine. Like she was there every step of the way. Even when I didn't even really know what I was doing, she was there every step of the way. The first book that I plan on releasing, sitting at work with this young lady, she was asking me questions. She was asking me very insightful questions that helped me like filter out exactly what I wanted into the book, and I still have it in a sketchbook. I have like 50 sketchbooks of different designs, concepts, or just shit I drew that I plan on use later.
So I wanted to go into this relationships. How is the psychology within relationships, and I guess love?
That's again a nuanced question, because you got to think of the age. What age group are they in? Our age group is much different from his age group.
All right, let's say millennials, or I guess.
Also, you're talking about our age group
versus this. This would be Gen X, right?
I believe. How old are you?
24. 98.
You might still be a millennial, but you're like, it's kind of like baby boomers, so to speak. Like the older baby boomers are much different from the younger baby boomers. So you might still be in our generation. I can't remember, but we grew up in the 90s, man. Like that's pretty much what it is. Like our generation is, when you really consider all the things we've seen in our generation, we've seen a war, we've seen planes crash into a building like it was nothing. We done seen drug epidemics. We done seen we seen 3 or 4 drug epidemics.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we saw the end of the crack and heroin. We saw Adderall, and now we're seeing fentanyl. Like I said, the war. I've seen bombing.
We've seen zombies. That's weird.
A depression. Like we've seen that.
Oh yeah, recession.
Yeah, the recession. Like like we've seen the housing market crash how many times in our generation?
Yeah, quite a lot, to be honest with you. Which I'm hoping for again.
Oh yeah, I am too. I'm hoping. I want
to buy a house.
I want a car. Like I need a new car. Like I need a new car. Yeah. I've been needing one, but no, we won't get into that. But we know why that's not the case. But that's.
So a lot of that has to deal with how we
how things are resolved. Like think about our generation. How many people didn't? I grew up with my mom and dad in the house, but most of us didn't.
I did too. I'm not gonna lie, I did. I mean, they were off and on, but they still stuck by each other.
Exactly. But how many people do you know did not grow up with their mom and dad in the house?
Quite a lot, to be honest with you.
And that's a totally different mentality. Like when you just grew up with just a mom. I don't understand a lot of them. I don't understand the emotional reaction to everything from a man or woman. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand being so motivated by emotions that it corrupts your life. Not saying it's wrong, I just don't understand it. versus you grew up with a dad. Even like y'all grew up with a man around. Typically, when you just observation, men who tend to not have grown up with a man around are typically louder. Think about it; they typically are louder people.
Yeah.
Whereas men who typically grew up with a man in the house are more soft spoken, more chill, more like it is more stoic. Not to say we're just these perfect beings,
But
or
it's
no,
like-
we don't have no temperament, but it's like we're more like man, I'm not dealing with that bullshit. Like we're more to wave something off before we react to it, because it's like, where could this go? Where could this lead?
That is just like we're also taught that manners inside.
And why is it
voice.
that people look? Oh, I don't mean to cut you off, but why is it that when that tends to happen, people be like, they don't give, how can I? They don't really put too much notice to that,
What?
like as to the more quiet guy in the room, or they feel like that's a bad thing in a way.
Because they can think that he's quite timid.
Oh, what? Because people, you talking about like how people try to take advantage of the timid guy or something like
Or
that?
like in a way, like, cause like for me, like, cause like in a Mexican household, like for some reason, like if you're like just quiet and don't say much, you're just reserved to yourself. Like it's kind of like a bad thing in a way. Like they're like, why is he doing like that?
Why is it frowned upon?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is it frowned upon? Because that's unnatural
Unnatural.
for, like, even in your for my ethnicity group, it's unnatural to not be so boisterous and loud and fun and all that other stuff. Like you see it with black people, just like you see it with in the Latino culture. It's
We're really
just
loud.
yeah, like loud, boisterous, fun, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
However, everybody's not like that. Everybody doesn't have that rambunctious way of acting. So it's looked at like, is there something wrong with him, or does he dislike us, or does he think he's better than us? That's how it comes off of them. When
One
it's
of
just
those
kinda
three.
Like, what it really is, and this is just a theory, is like we more or less internalize things and think about it in our mind before we externally express it. Where most people within our culture are more externally expressive.
Okay.
So that's like, even and then we've also been introduced to a lot of different other cultures too. Like, we're all anime heads. We know the cool stoic guy who was like a badass. Like, we all thought of that one guy in that one anime, and that's also very influential for us as well. Like, most of the main characters are very fun-loving and stoic, which has influence on us as well.
Facts.
Whereas most of the family, like women now are more so watching anime, but the girls our age wasn't watching anime when we were growing up.
Nah.
Your dad damn sure wasn't watching no damn anime.
Nah,
Your
they thought
mama
it was
wasn't
weird.
watching it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was a weirdo watching it, but it's like,
Now it's cool.
yeah, like it's no different than Spider-Man.
It's cool when they do it.
Spider-Man.
It's cool
Yeah, it's no
when
different
they-
than Spider-Man when you think about it. Or at Marvel Comics, like your parents, your dad for sure grew up with Marvel Comics when
Just different culture.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, but when you don't understand something, people just automatically think it's weird instead of trying to learn it. But I always say this, like, diversity creates creativity. When people are solo by themselves, it creates closed-mindedness and bigotry. And it doesn't matter if it's just a bunch of men. It doesn't matter if it's a bunch of women. It doesn't matter if you're all black. It doesn't matter if you're all Latino. It doesn't matter if you're all Asian. That's typically when you just have one kind of individual in one kind of area. It just does not create the same type of creativity when you have a multitude of different type of people with different backgrounds, etc., and so forth. I hope I answered your question.